Hi, I'm Chris Gianetti with Jackson Public Schools, Assistant Superintendent of Communications and Community Outreach. Today I'm here with Jacob Inocencio, the founder and Executive Director of Grow Jackson. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. So tell us about Grow Jackson. How did it start?
Yeah, absolutely. So we got started about 3 years ago, and at the time we thought we'll just plant a community garden or two. Maybe some people in the neighborhoods will help out, we'll grow the food and we'll give it away. We've been very blessed in the last couple of years for that to have grown, no pun intended, dramatically. And so now we've been in multiple different classrooms, we have a great workforce development program, and we grow way more food than we ever could have imagined.
So what was the inspiration behind this? Was it you that started it?
So I did start Grow Jackson with a couple of friends. Our thought was, we knew there was community gardening happening in Jackson, but we wanted an organization that just focused on gardening. Not a part of what we did, not a piece of our programming, but that was the focus. And that has allowed us to support churches, community gardens, support partner community gardens, support gardens that used to exist and didn't anymore, and to scale so that we have gardens now with JPS and a number of other partners.
So where does the food go?
So our food goes all over. We work with community partners, we work with students, we work with different community outreach events to give the food away. So we have a couple of farm stands in and around gardens down in the city that are self-serve. We provide the food, people come and take the food. Sometimes they bring their baskets back so we can recycle those, and we just keep sharing food that way all year. But another great way that we share food is with partners in the garden. We harvest together, we grow it together, we harvest together, and then we give that food directly to the people involved. And that's the similar model to what we're going to do here with JPS. The students who are growing the food are actually going to be the students, if they want, who get to take the food home.
Yeah, so I think for Jackson Public Schools, you know, we kind of got involved with you last year with Just Northeast, really went off very well with our STEM and STEAM programs, and so this year we decided to extend that partnership to 6 of our elementary schools, which I'm very excited about. So can you tell us a little bit about what's happening and what we're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're in 6 elementary schools, like you said, and we're going to add Sharp as soon as things get
construction
gets taken care of over there. But in those 6 schools, we have 14 different classrooms, and we have been really lucky to be able to connect what students are doing in the garden with life skills and with nutritional education and lifestyle choices with their science curriculum. So the kids are getting to learn the next-gen science standards that the state requires JPS to teach them. They're learning about ecosystems, they're learning about life cycles, they're learning about plant needs, and then we connect their science curriculum to the real world, to the grocery store, to the corner store, to the fast food place, and not the fast food place, right? We talk about where does food come from before it gets to Meijer or Walmart or Kroger or McDonald's, right? How does it get there? How does it get from the farm? Who is growing that food? And then that whole entire process, we're boiling it down to their school garden, and they're getting to see it from putting the seeds in the ground themselves all the way to harvesting that food and sharing it with their families.
And I know when I presented this to the principals, I think it was about 5 seconds and they were all in, because I think one of the most important things that we've learned is this hands-on, you know, start to finish learning really works for them, and kids have a lot of interest in food.
A ton.
Yeah.
We see the kids who in the first or second week will be a little disinterested, a little less engaged, maybe the kids that might be causing some problems in other classes, and they are so dialed in because it's a new type of learning, it's tactile, right? It's engaging, and so they're getting to see their own work and their own plants come to fruition. And I have kids almost every class, that's my kale, that's my radish, that's my onion, right? This is the seed that I planted, I'm watching it, I'm checking on it. And I don't know a better way to drive that kind of ownership of learning, even if they don't know that's the ownership of learning they're doing, with other than hands-on experience in the classroom. And so what we're able to do is run this nice balance between content, and they have a science journal they write in every week, and we share, vocab words and different processes in the garden depending on grade level. And then, okay, we just talked about photosynthesis, or we just talked about germination. This is how germination happens in real time in the garden, right? We talk about how to read a seed packet, right? Learning to read instructions, learning to problem solve, setting up garden design, some engineering skills, at the elementary level. And then they get to have ownership of how that layout happens. We help inform what best practices might be, and then they get to watch it unfold.
So where are they planting these? What kind of setup did you guys do at each of the buildings?
Yeah, so we learned pretty early on. Our first garden was at the King Center 3 years ago, and growing exclusively in ground presents some challenges. Kids have a harder time differentiating what's the garden and what's the pathway, especially when plants are small. So we learned that if we can do things in raised beds, we can control soil quality better. We can control who's running through the garden because now there's a clear defined barrier.
Right.
And it's really great for kids to be able to walk up to the garden, right? Clean pathways between, they walk right up to the bed. It's much more hands-on for them because it's oftentimes at eye level. And so we have built raised beds at every one of the schools. The thing that's super cool for me is that many of the schools have taken this and run with it even further. Everybody seems to love it, but some schools have said, how can we do this inside? How can we do this year round? Can we get grow lights? Can we do in-class composting? Can we be starting seeds and putting them in the garden? When are you coming back in the spring? And so to have so many amazing teachers at JPS is just incredible because they are taking this partnership and they're making it unique and making it their own for each of their set of students. So originally we thought, we'll have one style of teaching and we'll bring the same lesson to all 14 classrooms. And that's just not been the case, and it's been a huge blessing because some teachers say, let's do this and let me tie it in with this. Some say, let's do it a different way, but they're all really, driving that ownership, and the kids are buying into it. So, how do I say? The kids are loving it. They're just absolutely overwhelmed. They love it.
And I think that that's what we're hearing, right? So, all of our teachers and principals believe in, our community partnerships, right? So we have partnerships all over the community, and when we get a chance to do something that then can benefit our own kids or our own community. So I'm guessing that our food will be, from what I understand also, part of it is a partnership with our food service, who will be taking some of what you grow, making some new recipes for the kids to taste their own food.
Exactly. And the kids have asked, is my food going to be in the cafeteria? Is my food going to be in the community? Like, they want to know what's going to happen to this. And I think there's a source of pride for that too. The other thing that's really cool is we have some really great summer programs that happen with the YMCA and the King Center. So a lot of the kids will say, oh, I've never heard of Grow Jackson. And I say, well, actually, we're down at the King Center. If you play basketball or if you go to the Y camp or whatever, they'll come back the next week. I saw your other garden. Tell me about this, right? And so we've been able to drive engagement in our spaces that are outside of JPS, and that has kind of reinforced engagement with schools in JPS, and it's just been wonderful.
Yeah, we can't wait to add Sharp, of course, but so when it comes to Grow Jackson, where are the materials coming from? Do you have donors in the community? Do you also have other partnerships with other food banks or anything like that?
Yeah, so one of our strongest partnerships, just financially and programmatically, is JPS, absolutely. We also have a cool program with Jackson Catholic Schools. We have strong partnerships with Alrose Steel. We get support from, oh my goodness, Dawn Foods, Conagra Foods, which isn't local but is a Midwest food corporation, Consumers Energy, Henry Ford Health. So we have a lot of people buy into this. And what I say to everybody I talk to is the beautiful thing about what we do is regardless of what you believe or who you vote for or what you care about, every single person I've ever met can get on board with kids learning how to grow food and kids eating well. Right? We're pretty much all on the same page.
We're not growing candy.
Exactly. We're all on the same page about health for kids and food access for kids and more educational opportunities for kids. And so, like I said, regardless of anything else, it's an amazing place to start, and people can buy into it for a number of reasons, whether it's your science curriculum, whether it's your health equity, whether it's your food access, whether it's youth development. There's so many different ways that this makes sense for people.
And the need is great in our own schools. I mean, Jackson Public Schools is a school where it's well over 70% free and reduced lunch. So this is something that our own community right at home is dealing with. And I think that it's kind of when I look at it, I think it's a way for kids who are also in those situations to see that there's hope, that there's a way that they can belong and take part 100%. In feeding themselves 100%. And their friends, right?
We always say to kids, there's not bad food, because we never want to make a child feel shame around what they're eating. Many times it is beyond their control, right? They're getting food from a place they can walk to more often than not. And so we don't say there's bad and good, but we encourage them to think about balance and to think about different choices and different things that are available. But the fact of the matter is over 90% of the students in every elementary school at JPS are free and reduced lunch. That number goes down in the middle school and down again in the high school. people get more access to jobs, kids have a little more autonomy. But childhood food insecurity in the city of Jackson and in Jackson County is astronomically high. And so, we live in a community where our city population is 23% below the poverty line. We have a serious food access problem, and more importantly, a fresh food access problem, right? So what we've always tried to do is not just meet people's caloric needs, but also meet people's nutritional needs, right? And so nutritional security is super important. And the thing that's exciting for me is what we're going to provide for the kids is just the first step, right? It's just that drop in the bucket. But if we can inspire them to go to Walmart, to go to Meijer, to go to Kroger, and ask their parents, hey, can we try this food? Or hey, can we get green beans? Or hey, can we get broccoli? Because now I know what it looks like, now I know what it tastes like, now I know where it comes from. That ownership drives early lifestyle changes that become better habits for adults.
Well, and school lunch isn't what it used to be, right?
Of
So
course.
our food service, Brant and his whole team, they do a great job of introducing foods. We have special food days. They certainly have requirements that they have to keep as far as nutritional food. But now I think that this helps tie some of that in. This is why we're doing these
Of course.
things, right? And I think it's also important for these kids to have conversations about food insecurity all together.
All the time.
It's not something to be ashamed of. It's probably what your friend is going through, but if nobody
100%.
talks to each other, they don't know, right?
For sure. I always say hunger is so hard to see, right? You can't look at a child when they walk in the room and know, did they or did they not eat breakfast? Did they or did they not have dinner? And JPS doesn't, and many other schools in the county, but JPS does an amazing job of meeting students' nutritional needs, right? You have 2 meals on campus. A lot of kids take food home. There's programs for kids to take extra food home on Fridays because we know that the weekend, the nutritional quality goes way down if it exists at all. And so the thing that I love about Kids Growing Food is it matches JPS making the food available with uptake, right? Because a lot of kids will take the apple because they have to, or the carrots because they have to, but if they don't know about it, sometimes they'll just throw it away, right? And so what we encourage them to do is think about food waste, think about the food system. And people say to me, yeah, but they're just kids. And it's like, I think we would all be better off if we gave 3rd and 5th graders more credit. They know what's going on. They're paying attention. They're aware about what's going on at home. They know where their parents grocery shop. They know where their parents don't grocery shop because I ask them and they tell me. And so I think if we can drive uptake, I think if we can drive buy-in, those are the things that I think can help us add value to what's already happening in the food system in the community. When it's my kale, all of a sudden, this is the best thing I could possibly be eating because it's my kale, right? If I make it, children don't want to be made to do things. If I make you eat your vegetables, I make you eat kale, I make you eat spinach, no thanks, whatever, because they're obstinate. They don't want to be buying into whatever they have to do. But the minute that it's their idea, and especially if it's the cool kid in the class's idea, or it's your friend's idea, or someone at your table thinks it's a good idea, everybody can't wait.
Right.
And that's pretty valuable to me.
Yeah, we are definitely grateful for the partnership. So tell me, what else is on the plate for Grow Jackson? You got any events coming up? What do you have going on?
We have our Harvest Gala coming up to celebrate our 3-year anniversary. That's happening next month. And we're kind of winding down the year. This has been my first year being full-time, being the actual paid executive director. Before I was just volunteering. So we were kind of taking this as a pilot opportunity to see, okay, if the organization's ready for a paid, leadership position, are we going to get that benefit? Are we going to get the more dollars coming in, expanded partnerships? And that's, what led to us being able to start off at Northeast and do this. As previously, I was just doing it in my free time, so we were pretty isolated to just having summer programming. But with me having more time, we can do more stuff, we can extend our growing season, and I think that's going to, our number of students is going to go up about 300% this year. Last year we worked with about 297 kids. This year we're going to crack 900.
Wow.
We're going to grow more food. We have an internship program. We have employees. So we've just had all of these amazing opportunities. And we've actually been so lucky to have so many that we have to be a little choosy. We can't say yes to everybody as much as we would like to. Our capacity just isn't there yet. So we're trying to keep up with that. Who do we work with first? How do we work with them? What does that look like?
Yeah. And I think it's a learning experience too, right?
Absolutely.
Like I think that's what we learned last year, made it possible to open up into 6 schools. So is your Harvest Gala open to the public?
Yep.
So can they buy tickets?
Yeah, tickets are available
How do they
online.
do that?
They can go on our Facebook for that link, go to the Grow Jackson Facebook. It's better than going to the website right now.
Okay.
But the Grow Jackson Facebook's the best way to do that. Absolutely, we'd love to welcome the community in.
And I'm sure you welcome any donors who'd like to
Yeah,
give to your
absolutely,
program.
certainly.
So,
We always need more support. We always tell people, we need more time and we need more money, and you can't give us more time. So,
and we're appreciative of the just the efforts that you made to make this partnership happen.
yeah, absolutely.
And we're excited to see how the year goes. So
Yeah,
thanks so much.
Thank
Jacob.
you so much, Chris.